Part 79. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 793. Chapter 774 Suan Wu Armor, Tai Chi Chi. It's more than a little extraordinary. Use a bronze mirror to take a look. After the Dragon Emperor finished speaking, Su Junming and Tai Zhenjun subconsciously activated the bronze mirror. The clear mirror light penetrated thousands of feet into the void and fell on the tortoise shell. The layers of extremely dense horn were 100 times harder than the bones of the golden-winged rock that I had seen underground in Yuejia town. At the core of this tortoise shell, there is an extremely majestic stream, as big as 1,000,000 feet, like the dark blue air current of the Nine Heavens galaxy, exuding the extremely thick water law. Roar. Accompanied by the shocking roar, this thick dark blue air flow transformed into a basalt beast with a dragon head, a turtle body and a snake tail, with an earth-shattering momentum. Innate Tai Chi Sunflower Water Fundamental Chi. Suan Wu Armor. Su Junming and Tai Zhenjun said separately. No wonder your great five elements divine light can't do anything to this tortoise shell. The grade of this sunflower water basic chi is 2 levels higher than your Tai Chi Ziankai that condenses the world of the 5 elements, Su Junming said. If Lao San is willing to use his innate Tai Chi 5 elements fundamental energy to condense the 5 elements world, the great 5 elements divine light will take away this bastard's shell in minutes. The Dragon Emperor gave him a cold look and said nothing more. Condensing the world of the 5 elements requires a massive amount of 5 elements essence, and it becomes increasingly difficult the further back you go. His innate Tai Chi 5 elements fundamental chi will not act rashly until the last moment. I'm even more curious as to why there is such a level of Suan Wu armor in Qi County, China, the Dragon Emperor said coldly. What's so strange about this? It comes from the sky just like the golden-winged rock. The void is vast and boundless, and no one knows what will fly in one day. And you have also seen Wanyan Zhonghan's memory. Wanyan Aguda, it is the existence that came to Chixian Shenzhou alive and then ascended again, Tai Zhenjun said. While the 3 of them were talking, the remaining 3 people on the opposite side had already come to their senses. Su Junming, is that you? Zhao Kuangyan's expression changed, and his eyes glanced at the young man and the fat man standing next to him, who were not bad at all and were also members of the Golden Immortal, and his eyes became gloomy. Obviously, he did not expect that the Golden Immortal behind Chongshan Academy was not 1 person, but 2. Next to them, Zhao Piyu and Shensin Sanren were even more wary. The strange bell sound just now almost shook their souls. Zhao Kuangyan, I didn't expect that we would meet under such circumstances, Su Junming smiled slightly. Have you killed Li Yuanhao and the others? Zhao Kuangyan said in a deep voice. He is also a smart person and can guess a thing or two based on the current situation. Certainly. Zhao Kuangyan's face became even gloomier, and he took a deep breath. Let Zhang Chongyang and the others come out. Since I have fallen into your trap, let's just rely on our own abilities to see who can lead the ups and downs of the people of Qi County and China. Zhang Chongyang and the others have not united with me. Believe it or not is up to you. I am the only 3 here today, Su Junming said calmly. After taking a deep look at him, Zhao Kuangyan didn't believe what he said, but he also knew that today's battle was a must. And if he cannot win, his great ambition will eventually turn into water. The right palm spreads out, and the copper stick appears in the palm. That being said, a battle is inevitable. Su Junming nodded. Leave Zhao Kuangyan to me. Haha, I'm interested in that Suan Wu armor. I'll deal with that pretty boy, Zhenjun Tai said with a smile. This person is my opponent. The Dragon Emperor said a word, and as fast as lightning, he rushed towards the Holy Heart Sanren. Hey, third child, you're not particular about first come, first served. Tai Zhenjun said dissatisfied. You'd better deal with Zhao Piyu. The river map in his hand is a pair with your Luo Shu. If they can be put together, their power will be no less than that of ordinary low-grade immortal treasures. In the future, when we come to the Great Thousand World, after we restore our original state, we'll be stronger. Having said that, no matter what happened to true Lord Tai, he took a step forward and his figure disappeared in an instant. When he reappeared, he was already hundreds of feet in front of Zhao Kuangyan. The right hand pointed like a sword. In an instant, the extremely condensed sword energy was like lightning, slashing straight towards Zhao Kuangyan. Feeling the extremely sharp aura in the sword energy, a round, shiny silver-white ring flew out of Zhao Kuangyan's head. The misty light shone down, protecting Zhao Kuangyan in the middle. Boom! The sharp sword energy struck hard on it. Although the intense silver-white brilliance flickers endlessly, it doesn't look damaged at all. Your Tai circle is indeed extraordinary. Su Junming praised. His great magical power, the Pantuo Divine Sword, is powerful enough to cut through thousands of miles of small worlds with the help of his own powerful energy, blood, and magic power. It is even stronger than the innate divine sword activated by the golden immortal Dzogchen monk. Even so, the Tai circle was still not broken, which shows the tyranny of the middle grade innate spiritual treasure. Zhao Kuangyan put away the copper stick. After seeing the sword energy, he knew that ordinary methods would not threaten Su Junming at all. When the mana was activated, the silver-white circle above his head instantly expanded to a size of 3 feet. Silvery white radiance, like clear moonlight, is falling heavily. Su Junming, my Tai Yi circle is a middle-grade innate spiritual treasure with powerful power. Once I take action, I will either die or be injured. If you are willing to give up and join forces with me, in the future, you will be able to hold the throne of the human emperor of China in Qi County. Below me. When the time comes, wouldn't it be beautiful for you and me to ascend to the upper realm at the same time? Su Junming smiled lightly. What I wanted was never the throne of the human emperor. The sword finger of his right hand waved again, and at the same time, a ray of milky white light flew out of nothingness 3 feet above his head. The originally powerful sword energy was like a volcano erupting after being integrated into this divine light of creation. The extremely sharp sword spirit is good at facing the wind. In an instant, it expanded to a huge size. The magnificent sword light is as bright as the sun and the moon, and the brilliance shines brightly. The shocking movement attracted the attention of Zhao Piyu, Tai Zhenjun, and others. Zhao Kuangyan looked solemn, with shock in his eyes. The power of this sword has already surpassed the level of the golden immortal. How can it be so strong? Seeing that the sword energy was already in front of him, Zhao Kuangyan did not dare to neglect and quickly activated Tai circle. The tyrannical silver-white Zhengjin energy spilled out, almost condensing into substance. Clang! The deafening sound of gold and iron echoed throughout the world. Although the protective aura of Tai circle blocked Su Junming's sword energy, it was directly pushed back thousands of feet by the tyrannical sword energy. Su Junming looked calm. He hit 2 fingers on his right hand and cut them in the air like a sword. Let's see how many times you can block my sword. A milky white, irregular, approximately 3 foot long basin appeared 3 feet above the head. The rich spiritual energy of creation is integrated into the sword energy. The latter's aura has improved exponentially. But this time it was no longer a sudden surge, but instead continued to condense, turning into an extremely sharp 3 foot long sword light. Delete a little bit. Because the speed is too fast, the space is completely shattered. Before Zhao Kuangyan had time to see clearly, a layer of sword light shrouded in grey brilliance had already arrived in front of him. Clang! As soon as the 2 sides collided, the sword energy instantly penetrated 2/3 of the Zhengjin energy shield, and the remaining 1/3 was slowly shattered. Zhao Kuangyan was so shocked that he didn't care about anything else and mobilized all his magic power to maximize the power of Tai circle. Squeezed by the powerful Tai Zhengjin spiritual energy, this sword light finally stopped. As a result, before he could breathe a sigh of relief, 3 sword chi in a row came in, one after another, following the gap opened by the first sword chi. Damn it! Zhao Kuangyan's expression changed drastically. Before he could retreat, a sharp sword energy had already penetrated. The extremely sharp sword energy is like a high-pressure fountain, releasing its power crazily. When everything calmed down, the two of them solidified each other across 1,000 feet. I never thought you had such a valuable treasure. Su Junming smiled calmly, there are many things you can't think of. You think you've won. Whether you are sure to win or not, you can see for yourself. With a finger, Zhao Kuangyan could see clearly without turning his head. The Prime Minister Zhao Piyu, whom he relied on, was knocked thousands of feet away by a huge golden ship. After vomiting blood, he had no power to resist and was swallowed by a huge black hole. On the other side, the Sanren of the Sacred Heart was shrouded in a huge azure mirror with a diameter of 10,000 feet. The dim blue light seemed to contain infinite space. No matter how much the Sanren of the Sacred Heart dashed left and right in it, they were just spinning around in the mirror light, not clashing at all. Stay home. Mid-grade innate spiritual treasure. Zhao Kuangyan was shocked. He was too familiar with the aura revealed by the giant bronze mirror. This is the case with your own Tai circle. But he never imagined that there was such a treasure in Chongshan Academy. And not one piece. The milky white water basin that appeared above Su Junming's head just now is also a middle-grade innate spiritual treasure. At this moment, he had no time to think about whether Chongshan Academy was his destiny. The sword energy just now had broken his body, and he would soon be unable to hold on. It's okay. In the past, I still couldn't make up my mind to give up my body that has been trained for thousands of years and practice this blood sacrifice art. Today I have to do this. His hands danced like wheels, creating hundreds of seals in an instant. The rich spiritual light exploded and turned into 12 extremely complicated divine patterns. Zhao Kuangyan's body exploded with a bang, his flesh and blood shattered into pieces. After the rich essence and blood blended into the 12 divine patterns, the light shone brightly. When Su Junming was about to take action, he integrated into the Tai circle. For a moment, the silver-white brilliance of this middle-grade innate spiritual treasure was stained with blood. Haha, Su Junming. Today I will let you know the power of my Tai circle. Along with the laughter, the Tai circle shook violently. It was like a silver-white lightning, with a power as heavy as a mountain, hitting Su Junming directly. Su Junming clenched his hands, and a black spear appeared in his hands. It is the Pantuo Divine Spear. The milky white creation spiritual chi is sprinkled down from the creation spiritual pond above the head. It made Su Junming's physical body, which had already reached the peak of a top-grade military general, become stronger. Clang. The violent clash of gold and iron echoed throughout the world. The powerful impact caused Su Junming to fly back 100 feet, and Tai circle was also bounced high. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 794. Chapter 775, Sacrificing Soldiers with Blood, God Circle Tai. Looking at the Pantuo Divine Spear that was trembling in his hand and with a dent in the middle, Su Junming couldn't help but be secretly shocked. This Tai circle is worthy of being an extremely strong and extremely hard metallic middle-grade innate spiritual treasure. It can crack mountains and crack rocks, and is powerful. If I hadn't used the power of the creation spiritual pool to empower the Pantuo Divine Spear, I'm afraid it would have broken it with just one blow. What's more important is that the power of Tai circle is now more than 10 times higher than when the previous senior Zhao Kuangyan was in charge. Totally different. I wonder what is the secret of that magic trick? It can actually combine the human soul and the immortal weapon into one. With the help of a bronze mirror, Su Junming clearly saw the sequence of Zhao Kuangyan's seals and the entire process of combining his soul with the Tai circle. Su Junming, Suffer death. Zhao Kuangyan roared angrily, and the Tai circle fell in the sky, as bright as the sun and moon in the sky, carrying a string of silver rainbows and lightning. Su Junming raised his spear and repeated his old trick. Clang! There was another violent sound of gold and iron. This time, Su Junming only took 3 steps back, and the Tai circle was shot away. Ha ha, come again. Zhao Kuangyan laughed loudly, and the Tai circle glowed brightly, becoming huge in the blink of an eye. The dazzling silver-white brilliance covers the sky and the sun. The huge Tai circle was like a huge mountain that stretched across the sky, crushing over with the power of destroying the heaven and the earth. Its power is so powerful that it is almost suffocating. Su Junming saw this, took a deep breath, and transformed. The strong body is able to grow in the wind, and in the blink of an eye it becomes a huge body of 12,000 feet. Harmony becomes clouds, exhalation becomes wind. In a flash, the wind and clouds surged. Stomping your feet, the ground shook. The Pantuo divine spear in his hand is about 20,000 feet long. The sharp spear light shoots directly at the bull-fighting bull. The creation spirit pond is like a piece of milky white jade with a diameter of several thousand feet, and the rich creation spiritual chi is rolling down like the Milky Way in the 9 heavens. Su Junming's height swelled again. In just a few moments, it has already reached 30,000 feet. At this time, the entire Buddha's light oasis was trampled under his feet, with millions of yellow sands visible to his eyes. Tai circle, which is as big as a mountain and as bright as the scorching sun, has also lost its tyrannical aura that dominates the world. Holding the Pantuo divine spear in his hand like a pillar of heaven, Su Junming simply used a move to sweep thousands of armies. Buzz! There was a huge earthquake for 9 days, and white fog formed into clouds. The extremely powerful and explosive force not only exploded the air, but also exploded the space. Thousands of miles long and nearly 1,000 miles wide, the black belt left behind after the space was shattered flew straight towards the Tai circle. Mars hits the Earth. A dazzling light enveloped the Earth. At this moment, heaven and earth were eclipsed. The mountains and rivers were silent. There is nothing but a dazzling silvery white color. A wave of air thousands of feet high covered the sky and covered the earth, crushing it in all directions. Wherever it passed, everything was shaken to pieces. Immediately afterwards, there was thunder that shook the sky and wall. The magnificent sound shook thousands of miles around. Even the ground shook violently. A huge hole with a diameter of 10,000 feet appeared in the sky, reaching directly into the sky. Even though it was daytime, thousands of stars could be seen in it. Dong dong dong. The extremely powerful force made Su Junming take 3 big steps back. Tai circle was also shaken and flew high into the air. After a few flashes, it returned to its original size again. Looking at the Pantuo divine spear that was almost broken in his hand, Su Junming couldn't help but marvel at how the middle-grade metallic innate spirit treasure was so domineering. The Tai circle is extremely hard, and fighting head-on is never the best idea. Think of this. Dragon Emperor, give me your soul-falling bell. Good. A slightly cold voice fell. A black space channel appeared beside him, and then a black copper bell the size of a child's fist flew out of it. Su Junming also knows the magical power of the soul-falling bell. However, if you want to subdue Zhao Kuangyan, you can't do it with the soul-falling bell alone. With a thought in his heart, the spiritual pond of creation sprinkled down the spiritual light. At the same time, the magic power rolled out from the Danshan, and the soul-falling bell instantly turned into a giant of thousands of feet. Zhao Kuangyan's Yuan Shen was located in the Tai circle. His powerful spiritual consciousness looked at the huge black bell and instinctively felt the danger. After secretly saying no, he prepared to leave first and plan later. Before he could even take off, he flew away. Boom! The bells like a yellow bell and a big lu resounded throughout the world. In an instant, The rolling sound waves were like rolling waves, spreading across thousands of miles like lightning. Zhao Kuangyan only felt a strange force, ignoring the extremely hard body of Tai Circle, and rushed in directly. As the founder of the Song dynasty, Zhao Kuangyan's golden dragon of luck could not protect his soul. But this time Su Junming used the soul falling bell to cast the soul falling bell, which was 100 times more powerful than the soul falling bell struck by the Dragon Emperor at the beginning. The luck golden dragon was crushed and shattered before it could show its power. The next moment, Zhao Kuangyan felt someone hit him hard on the back of the head with a sledgehammer. In an instant, his soul was shaken and he felt dizzy, as if he had fallen into a dream. The blood sacrifice art gave it Tai Circle's powerful body, but his soul remained the same as before. Su Junming stretched out his hand. A thick black iron chain flew out from nowhere, ignoring Tai Circle's rigid body and flew directly into it. After a while, a tall purple-faced man wearing a bright yellow dragon robe and a dull expression flew out. The soul-binding magic power is the natal soul magic power that Renwuji understood. Su Junming, as the deity, can also use it. After catching Zhao Kuangyan, Tai Circle completely lost control. With a move of his hand, this Jixian Shenzhou's world-suppressing artifact, the top middle-grade innate spiritual treasure of the 24 innate spiritual taboos, flew into his palm. As a metallic innate spiritual treasure, Tai Circle is good at both offense and defense, and has powerful power. However, the protection of soul Taoism can only be regarded as average. But it still does not damage the power of its top-level innate spiritual treasure. If it weren't for Su Junming's many magic weapons and his versatile methods, Zhao Kuangyan would have been able to clean up the world and rebuild the Holy Dynasty with just this Tai Circle. After the battle, the Dragon Emperor and Tai Zhenjun, who had already captured Zhao Piyu and the Sanren of the Holy Heart, flew over. Haha, now we are done. Except for the two people from Kongmingshan, there are no more golden immortals in the world. Jixian Shenzhou has finally fallen into our hands. Tai Zhenjun, holding a wine gourd, laughed. 3 years of hard work has been planned, and now it's finally done. Su Junming also had a smile on his face. Even the Dragon Emperor, a guy with a cold expression, curled up his lips. Next is the army of messengers, sweeping across the world. Su Junming nodded. In order to reduce casualties, the three of you and I will also take action together to capture all the immortals from the Great Song Dynasty, the Central Plains Taoist sect, Penglai Mountain and Suandu Mountain. Let's go. Finish this matter as soon as possible so that we can rush to the Chinese world. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 795. There are many changes in the world, and it has been 100 years since we looked back. After capturing Zhao Kuangyan and others and clearing the final obstacle, Chongshan Academy's cavalry stood out and spent 30 years sweeping the world. Once again, a huge force covering nearly 400 million miles of China was established in Qi County. It took another 70 years to extend the rule of Chongshan Academy to millions of billions of living beings, including humans, demons, witches, and dragons. Truly take this world into your own hands. As the master of Chongshan Academy, Su Junming's luck greatly increased. Cultivation, physical body, magic power, and realm have completely reached the peak that Jixian Shenzhou can accommodate. Huanglong Mountain in the Central Plains. Su Junming stood with his hands behind his back, the Dragon Emperor sat cross-legged on the bluestone, Tai Zhenjun was lying on his back on a white cloud 3 feet away, holding a wine gourd in his hand, and was drinking sips with an expression of great enjoyment. After many years of planning, we can finally take action, said the Dragon Emperor. Su Junming nodded. With a finger, the human soul gate appears. The time has come, let's take action. After giving an order, Huanglong Mountain was not far away, so in Tokyo, the capital of the Song dynasty, in the Bianliang upper courtyard of Chongshan Academy, Hesha Taoist priest Li Shaojing suddenly opened his eyes. His majestic gaze swept over the surrounding disciples who had more than 1,000,000 golden elixirs. Disciples listen to the order and form a formation. The magnificent sound reaches everyone's ears accurately. After hearing the order, all the disciples simultaneously transferred their magic power to a jade tablet in front of them. After absorbing the mana, a rich aura spread out from the jade tablet. Looking from the direction of Taoist Hesha, jade plagues were floating in the air, like stars, extremely beautiful. But now is not the time to admire this scene. He made quick gestures with his hands, and after a moment, he drank from his mouth. Open. In an instant, rays of light shot out from the jade talisman. These rays of light were connected with each other, and with Hesha Taoist Li Shaojing as the core, they turned into a large array covering the entire Bianliang and millions of miles around. The great formation in Bianliang does not exist alone. In the entire Qi County Shenzhou, from east to west, there are a total of 365 formations. Su Junming saw it in his eyes, took a step forward, and reached a height of 10,000 feet in an instant. With a wave of his sleeves, a bamboo building surrounded by a bamboo forest and backed by a hill flew out. It is Kongshanju who has been with him since his enlightenment. Using this treasure as the formation I, a huge formation covering the entire Qi County China has been formed. The moment the formation was formed, an unparalleled giant tree slowly flew up in the void hundreds of millions of miles away from Chixian Shenzhou. Its main pole is over 1 billion miles thick. Just one leaf is millions of miles in size, and the fluffy canopy is even bigger than the starry sky in Chixian, China, which is millions of miles away. This is a world tree that is as majestic as the stars. It is also Su Junming's mountain world. As this world approaches, there is finally movement in the heavenly way of China in Qi County. An extremely powerful, cold, and ruthless consciousness slowly came to life. In Chixian Shenzhou, the situation is changing. In the 9 days, there are thunder and lightning, and it is a scene of doomsday. All living beings in the world also felt the presence of this majesty, and an indescribable fear rose from the bottom of their hearts. Su Junming and the others closely watched the changes in China in Qi County. Boom! Thunder shook the sky, and a bolt of lightning 1,000,000 feet long spanned a distance of hundreds of millions of miles and landed in front of the building on which the world of Chongshan rested. The warning is very obvious. Chongshan world, which originally came with the intention of devouring it, stepped directly into the billion-mile starry sky world of Chixian Shenzhou without stopping. The infinite devouring power spread out, and the surrounding barren planets, rocks, and other materials flew towards the bottom of the tree canopy. In just a moment, 1/5 of the starry sky in Chixian Shenzhou was missing. Boom boom. Earth-shattering thunder was continuous. Electric snakes spread all over the 9 heavens. The strong winds tear the sky and the earth apart. Even if Su Junming doesn't use his spiritual consciousness, he can clearly feel the anger that pervades the world. This anger is mainly directed at the greedy world of Chongshan, and some is directed at all living beings in the world. Because the 3 mid-level innate spiritual treasures and spiritual roots, and the 9 low-grade innate spiritual treasures that were supposed to be the world-suppressing spiritual treasures in this world, were all moved to Chongshan world by Su Junming. Let Chixian Shenzhou Tiandao lose its strongest means. Boom! Chixian Shenzhou's extremely rich aura is surging. Under the control of Heavenly Dao, it turned into a magnificent 1,000,000-foot-long thunder, carrying the astonishing power of creating the world, and headed straight towards Chixian Shenzhou. Haha, resistance is futile, so just merge with me. Amidst Dao Tian's domineering laughter, a 1,000,000-foot-high 12-story golden pagoda, with thousands of golden lights and thousands of auspicious colors, illuminated the sky for hundreds of millions of miles. It is the Emperor's Tower, the spiritual treasure of Chongshan world. This middle grade innate spiritual treasure with 24 innate spiritual prohibitions, under the influence of Ao Tian with the power of Qi County Shenzhou heaven and earth, fully exploded with its due power. In contrast, Chixian Shenzhou, which should have faced each other with the Tai circle, can now only attack with thunder and lightning. Coupled with the gap in world power, its strength is much worse. Therefore, the thunder was quickly swallowed by the Emperor Tower, as if eating noodles. Of course Chixian Shenzhou Tiandao will not give in just yet. The spiritual energy in the world was once again twitched, turning into a rain of golden swords, a flood of fire and thunder and lightning. The disappearance of the spiritual energy caused the earth to tremble more and more violently, and the sea water churned, as if the end was coming. Let's take action together. After the Dragon Emperor and Tai Zhenjun nodded, they fought with their hands at the same time, maximizing the power of the boundary sealing formation. Kongshanju is blooming with infinite aura, and the already complete boundary sealing formation is beginning to bloom its true power. Thousands of rays of light, endless restrictions. A French net covering nearly 400 million miles covered the earth, oceans, and mountains, and the powerful sealing power spread out. The boiling spiritual energy between heaven and earth gradually calmed down. The earth no longer trembles, volcanoes no longer erupt, and the sea water becomes calm. The doomsday scene dissolves. Chixian Shenzhou Tiandao also discovered internal instability. Boom! Dense thunder and lightning formed a power grid that filled the sky. Boom! A magnificent million-foot thunder no longer hit Chongshan world, but hit Chongshan residents. Staring at the thunderbolt, Su Junming roared angrily the moment it descended. Rise! A black light soared into the sky from Chongshan residents, becoming tens of thousands of feet in size in an instant. This is a huge tortoise shell. It is filled with the amazing Kuai Shui Dharma. The battle between spears and shields caused the sky and earth to light up in blue and white. The dazzling light surpasses the scorching sun. The mighty thunder seemed to split the earth and split the sky. When the clouds disappear and the rain falls, the thunder disperses. Although the tortoise shell has shrunk dozens of times, it is still intact and not damaged at all. This Suanwu armor is really powerful. It can't even stop the thunder of thousands of worlds. Seeing this, Zhenjun Tai couldn't help but cheered up. After Su Junming nodded, he breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, we gathered the power of humanity in Qi County to fight against the heaven. Otherwise, even if we had Suanwu armor, we would have been killed or injured by the thunder just now. Thinking about the thunder that destroyed the world just now, even the usually indifferent Dragon Emperor couldn't help but nod. The power of thunder can exterminate the ants that get in the way. Chixian Shenzhou Tiandao became even more angry. In its consciousness, the rebellion of the people it raised with its own hands was more hateful than the foreign invaders, and it must be killed as soon as possible. However, because Chongshan world is swallowing up everything in Chixian Shenzhou, the power of the divine thunder it transformed from spiritual energy this time is much weaker than before. Su Junming, who was originally prepared to switch to Kongshanju to withstand this wave of divine thunder, saw that the Suanwu armor's defensive power was so powerful, so he sacrificed this treasure again. The powerful force of thunder was blocked by the Suanwu armor driven by the mana of hundreds of millions of monks. At this time, the buildings transformed from Chongshan world resolutely came to the core of China in Qi County. Above the nine heavens, the shadow of the Emperor's tower can already be seen. With a boom, the world seemed to open up into a huge black hole with a diameter of 1,000,000 miles, and endless spiritual energy from the world flew towards it. Chixian Shenzhou is getting weaker and weaker, and the power of heavenly Dao is naturally getting smaller and smaller. At this time, a brilliant sword light spread across the sky. It was like a magnificent long river in the nine heavens, flowing through the sky. Faintly, everyone seemed to hear a scream. The next moment, blood rained from the sky. An atmosphere of sadness filled the space between heaven and earth. Everyone felt a sense of enlightenment. This world is the way of heaven. Fallen. Seeing the scarlet rain staining the earth red, Su Junming breathed a sigh of relief. It's over. With a move of his hand, Kongshanju flew over. A bronze round mirror flew out from it and fell into the hands of the Dragon Emperor. That was his void god realm, used to cooperate with Chongshan residents and suppress the world sealing formation. We work hard here, and Ao Laosi gets all the benefits. There was a flash of light, and Ao Tian appeared next to him wearing a dragon robe. This time it was no longer a projection of a soul, but a real Dharmakaya. After killing Chixian Shenzhou Tiandao, he no longer needs to worry. Damn fat man, you have to be conscientious when you speak. If I am not the body of heaven in the Chongshan world and can't go to other worlds, why would I need you? How about we switch, you do the heaven, and I fight outside, there are no benefits. Here you go, no complaints. Hey, let's forget it. True Lord Tai does not want to be trapped in the world of Chongshan forever. After transmitting the message through the human soul divine gate and telling Chongshan disciples to stop the formation, Su Junming turned his head. How long does it take to refine Chixian Shenzhou? 1 jiezi. Su Junming nodded. We will go to the Chinese world in a few weeks. After the spiritual energy was completely revived, and after hundreds of years of gestation, the Chinese world is now a powerful world that stretches 90,000 miles from north to south and nearly 80,000 miles from east to west. However, its foundation is worse than Su Junming's Chongshan world. Today's most talented monks are nothing more than true immortals. Therefore, after the original plan to devour Chixian Shenzhou was made, he also made arrangements to take over the Chinese world. In this way, Chongshan Academy was completely integrated into one world and developed more rapidly. He is also looking forward to what kind of sparks will be created when the technology of the Chinese world is combined with the various spiritual practices of the Chongshan world. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 796. Chapter 777, Chinese World, 5 Fingers in the Sky. The sun was blazing and there were no clouds in the sky. Suddenly, a sharp breaking sound came. But in the distant blue sky, 2 rays of light were seen coming at lightning speed. In the center of a pale yellow ray of light is a middle-aged man wearing a blue robe, with gray hair, a sword eyebrow, and a Chinese character face. This person had one hand behind his back and the other hanging casually on his waist, with a serious look on his face. Next to him was a handsome young man wearing a green Taoist robe and a Dharma bag tied around his waist, with twinkling eyes that revealed a hint of shrewdness and slickness. Master, don't we go back to Luofu Mountain? Let's go to your uncle's place first. The young man's eyes showed strong curiosity. Master, is this Wuzishan? The middle-aged man nodded. That's great. Chongshan Academy is now the largest sect in the world, with hundreds of millions of disciples. The 5-Finger Mountain Cave is 30 million miles across and is the largest cave in the world. I finally have a chance to see it. Seeing the excited smile on his face, the middle-aged man's face gained a hint of complexity. The figure who was tall, respectful, and serious, and whose qualifications and understanding were the first since the mission sect was founded came to mind. Even though he has already had a deep understanding of this nephew's talents, he never imagined that in less than 500 years, the other party could establish a behemoth that was so powerful that it far surpassed the mission southern sect and now suppressed even the Western Holy See. Because of the complicated relationship between the two parties, he has been consciously avoiding contact with Chongshan Academy, and even rarely returns to Mission Nanzang. Over the past 500 years, he has spent most of his time in Renjia town practicing. The reason why he came this time was because Zhao Lai, the head of Mission Mountain, personally came to the door and wanted him to come forward to exchange for 3 UN soul reinforcing pills from Chongshan Academy. In the entire Chinese world, this elixir is the most effective when it comes to repairing soul injuries. As the supreme elder of Mission Nanzang, and with Zhao Li personally coming to make peace, he couldn't refuse, so he packed up and came with his only redisciple. Just as he was thinking about it, thousands of mountains and rivers were flying by at his feet. Gradually, the water vapor around him became thicker. Not long after, the sound of flowing river reached my ears. Soon, a vast river appeared in front of us. Yangtze River. This is the largest river in China with a width of 30,000 miles. In the entire territory of China, except for the Yellow River in the north, there is nothing else that can compare with it. The mighty Yangtze River is nearly 50,000 miles wide in the Jingzhou section. Standing above, you can see 5 peaks with a diameter of several hundred feet and a height of thousands of feet standing in the vast river. 4 peaks stand side by side, and the shortest and thickest one is thousands of miles away. Viewed from the air, it looks like an open palm, with the palm under the water and only 5 fingers above the water. Master, is this Wuzishan? The young man asked curiously. He scratched his head and regained consciousness for a moment. How come the world's largest sect doesn't look as impressive as our Luofu Mountain sect in Mission? A monk focuses on cultivation, why do you do so many fancy things? Pa slapped him on the back of the head. 500 years later, his habitual method of punishment has remained unchanged. He responded aggrievedly, not daring to say more. Use the water avoiding technique I taught you and come down with me. Nu. The two of them flew one after another to the middle of the 5 fingers peak in the center of the river, and then turned around and headed downward. After using the water avoidance technique to separate the river water, it was no more than 100 feet downward. The young man's eyes widened instantly. Master, look. A few dozen feet below him, a city covering tens of thousands of acres appeared. Different from the cities outside, everything here seems to be carved out of crystal. The gorgeous rainbow light reflects the entire city beautifully, like the legendary Dragon Clan's Crystal Palace. It can be seen that an invisible cover covers the entire city and also cuts off the river. There is a huge archway in each of its 4 directions, east, west, north, and south. There is an open space covering an area of 100 acres in front of each archway, and bustling monks are entering and leaving through the archway. This is the #1 city in the world, Chongshan City. In the future, if you are a layman and want to buy or sell things for cultivation, you can come here to trade. Only with enough cultivating people can the largest market in the world be born. There are trillions of people and countless disciples in the cave of Chongshan Academy, which naturally gave birth to the largest market in the world. Yes, Master. The two landed on the wide platform. The young man looked at the vigorous words Kongshan Fang City on the Senmendong archway in front of him, and couldn't help but look forward to it. After following the master and walking in, he looked around and found out. This place is actually similar to the cities outside. However, almost all the people who come and go are monks, and there are very few ordinary people. Looking at the dazzling array of elixir stores, magic weapon shops, spiritual animal shops, and magic charm shops, young people want to go in and enjoy them. Even if they can't afford it, it's good to have a taste of it. It's a pity that the master didn't show any sign of stopping, and he didn't dare to speak rashly. Cross the main street and arrive at the center of the city. This is a building similar to the city government compound in the city outside. There are 3 long plaques hanging next to them, with the words Chongshan Academy Office, Chongshan Academy Square Municipal Administration and Chongshan Academy Foreign Affairs Bureau written in fair regular script respectively. After entering the gate, there are exactly 3 buildings with a height of more than 10 floors in the yard. Obviously, they correspond to the 3 chief plagues. The two quickly found the building where the Foreign Affairs Bureau was located. Compared to the 2 buildings next to it, it was much deserted. After entering the door, they were stopped by Chongshan disciples on duty. "Stop, which sect are you from?" The middle-aged man said solemnly, we are disciples of the mission Southern Section. Mission Nanzang. The face of the disciple on duty changed slightly. All Chongshan disciples know the connection between their sect and Mission Southern Sect, so they are naturally close to each other. Exactly. The disciple on duty handed over 2 forms. Please fill out these 2 forms first. The middle-aged man who knew the rules did not refuse and quickly wrote it. When he took it over and took a look, his expression suddenly changed. Lin Feng Xiao, the Supreme Elder of Mission South Sect. After seeing the registration information and his appearance, the disciples on duty instantly became respectful. Although there are not many Chongshan disciples who know that Lin Zhenying, the second-generation direct disciple of Chongshan Academy, has a father named Lin Feng Xiao, who is the Supreme Elder of Mission Southern Sect, he happens to be one of them. He hurriedly took off the copper bell from his waist and rang it. The clear ringing of the bell spread, and soon a young disciple wearing a blue robe came over. You, this is the father of Master Lin Zhenying, the Supreme Elder of the Southern Sect of Mission. You can accompany me in person. It's a great treat. The young disciple looked shocked, but he knew that his senior brother would never do anything wrong. After nodding, he respectfully welcomed Lin Feng Xiao in. I originally planned to arrange the 2 of them into the VIP room and then notify Uncle Lin, but a familiar voice came into my ears. Yu responded respectfully, you too, please come with me. After saying that, he stretched out his finger, and a phantom of azure stone door appeared in front of him. Lin Feng Xiao knew the San Shenman, the treasurer of Chongshan Academy, so she stepped in. The young man quickly followed. The scene in front of the group of 3 people suddenly changed. A world with extremely rich spiritual energy and vast heaven and earth appears in front of you. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 797. Master, this is Chongshan Cave Heaven? It looks no different from the outside. The young man looked at everything around him curiously. It is precisely because it is the same as the outside that it is the envy of other sections. After a pause, the cave sky with the replacement of yin and yang, the sun, moon, stars, ice, snow, and rain, and the 4 seasons is called the Little Thousand World Chongshan Academy. The 5-finger mountain cave heaven under the gate, although it is called the cave heaven, is actually a huge small world 30 million miles in length and breadth. A small world 30 million miles away? Isn't that bigger than 2 or 3 provinces in China? The young man blurted out, with a look of surprise on his face. Actually, it's not that big. It's much smaller than Tubo and the western regions. The young man leading the way suddenly interrupted. Seeing the proud look on his face, Zhang Bao, who came with Lin Feng Xiao, twitched the corner of his mouth. Want to say back to him, you will die if you don't show off? But considering that this was on someone else's territory, I didn't dare to speak in the end. Junior brother Li, where are you going? The loud sound startled Zhang Bao. Turning around, a gigantic golden lion with a height of 9 feet flew towards him from the sky. Under the dazzling sunshine, the brilliant lion's mane is like fire, showing a hint of sanctity in its majesty. As he got closer, the golden lion's light flashed, transforming into a tall man with a height of 9 feet, muscular muscles, and a proud face wearing a brocade robe. Senior brother Jiniang. Li Yunfan bowed his hands in greeting. Haha, junior brother Li, you don't have to be polite. Thanks to the furnace of 7 yellow pills you refined, I finally mastered the celestial demon transformation technique and completely transformed into a human form. Senior brother Jin is polite. When we strangled the monsters in the East China Sea, if not for senior brother Jin's rescue, Yunfan would have died long ago. How could he be here today? Haha, you and my fellow disciples don't have to be so polite. By the way, aren't you looking for another 500-year-old dike grass? I just asked for one from my clan. You can come and get it at any time. Then it will be refined into the Heavenly King's Heart Protect pill. Just give me a few pills. Li Yunfen was overjoyed and quickly handed over his hand. Thank you, senior brother Jinyang. After waving his hands, he looked at Lin Fengjiao and Zhang Bao beside him. Zhang Bao didn't care. When he saw Lin Fengjiao's appearance clearly, he was shocked. He quickly bowed to the end and his tone was extremely respectful. Uncle Master Lin, Jinyang of the Golden Lion clan. At the beginning, it was the Mount of Qinzhong, the second-generation disciple of Chongshan Academy. Later, there were more and more descendants and they became a clan. In addition, after integrating the Kunlun ruins and integrating the other Golden Lions. Now the Golden Lion clan is about 30 years old. Because of his extraordinary bloodline, he is also a registered inner disciple in Chongshan Academy. I'm not Lin Zhengying, I'm his father. Jinyang was stunned for a moment. He looked very similar, but obviously older than Master Lin's uncle, and understood instantly. Just as he was about to speak, a black hole suddenly appeared in the void, and a tall and thin figure walked out of it. Seeing the person coming, Jinyang and Li Yunfen stepped forward quickly. Si Shishizu, Master's uncle, ... He waved his hand. You go ahead. Yes. After the two bowed, they turned into light and left. Father. Lin Zhengying said respectfully. Now your ears are getting bigger and bigger. Children don't dare. Looking at her respectful son, Lin Fengjiao nodded slightly and asked, Is your senior uncle Ren here? Uncle Master is cultivating in the mountains behind Central Peak. Take me to meet you. Seeing that his father did not introduce Zhang Bao to him, Lin Zhengying did not ask any more questions. After nodding, lead the way. Seeing her son, who she hadn't seen for many years and whose face looked very similar to hers, Lin Zhengying, who looked serious on the outside, was actually very happy in her heart. I'm just not good at expressing myself. Is Rui okay? It is said that Lin Fengjiao is not exempt from the custom of kissing someone from another generation. Compared with his son, he still prefers his grandson Lin Rui. I just broke through to the mysterious immortal realm a few days ago, and I am still stabilizing my cultivation. Xianxian. Lin Fengjiao paused for a moment, looking shocked. It should be noted that the heads of the major sects in the world of cultivation today are only true immortals. Are you telling the truth? Lin Zhengying nodded, he understood his father. Except for the direct disciples of Chongshan, outsiders have no idea what kind of behemoth Chongshan Academy has grown into. 13 second-generation direct descendants have all achieved the golden immortal realm. 97 of the third-generation direct descendants have all become immortals, and the outstanding ones have already become among the mysterious immortals. In just a few hundred years, Junming has really managed to become quite powerful. Lin Fengjiao sighed. He didn't ask about his son's cultivation level, it must be higher. If he spoke, it would only make him, who possesses the cultivation level of a true immortal, even more embarrassed. Not long after, 7 mountains suspended in mid-air appeared in the bright blue sky. The 6 outer ones are not much different, and the one in the middle is the tallest, which is thousands of feet tall. 6 spectacular rainbow bridges span the wind and clouds, connecting the periphery and the center. Among the beautiful peaks, there are layers of green mountains, waterfalls, and springs. Occasionally, there are fairy birds fluttering their wings and the wonderful sounds of spiritual animals. The unique shaped cornices and brackets connect the skylight above, reflect the rivers and lakes below, and are backed by mountains, forests, flowers, and rocks, almost blending into one. There is also the magnificent Golden Palace, shining with light. Against the backdrop of the dazzling sunshine, the 7 mountain peaks surrounded by clouds exude an ethereal and mysterious fairy spirit. Lin Fengjiao, who has been here several times, knows that this is the core area of Chongshan Academy, the Kixuan Peak. Master, how beautiful is this place? Zhang Bao looked around with envy on his face. Snapped. Uncle Ju is always so direct when he expresses his anger. Restrain yourself and don't embarrass me. Yes. Zhang Bao covered the back of his head and nodded with a frown on his face. Lin Zhenying saw this and smiled faintly. When he was a child, his father often beat him like this. It seems that Dad values him very much. Under his leadership, the group came to the bamboo forest behind the central peak. Along the old moss-covered stone road, after a few turns, the view suddenly opened up, and a simple two-story bamboo building came into view. Crossing a small bridge made of rough wood, there are two firewood doors. Push the door and go in, and an elegant small courtyard appears in front of you. On the left side of the small courtyard, a pomegranate tree stands like a canopy, surrounded by some flowers and plants. Although it is not very colorful, it has a certain color. Lin Fengjiao looked at everything around her and suddenly stopped. Because everything around me is so familiar. Just when he was stunned, a familiar yet unfamiliar gentle voice came into his ears. Uncle, you are fine. Lin Fengjiao trembled all over, turned her head slowly, and the muscles on her face suddenly tensed. But see you. A tall, sturdy young man wearing a green robe with a gold rope tied around his waist and a green leather gourd hanging from his left waist. His black hair was tied with a gold ring and hung casually behind his head. He appeared outside the porch of the bamboo building. That familiar appearance, completely engraved deep in the bone marrow, had not been seen for hundreds of years. Vaguely, Uncle Ju seemed to see the young man who followed his junior brother Four Eyes, covered with green leaves, and with a tiger-like head. Hundreds of years of vicissitudes of life have changed both of them. Master. Lin Zhenying quickly bowed and saluted. Smiling and nodding, Su Junming walked over. Lin Fengjiao took a deep breath, but she could not calm down her complicated thoughts. Really, really you? His tone was trembling unconsciously. But we haven't seen each other for hundreds of years, wouldn't my uncle not even recognize his nephew? Now you are already a respected member of the sect, and you behave with dignity. You are no longer the green young man you were back then. Lin Fengjiao sighed. Uncle, you are wrong. No matter when, no matter how many years pass, you are still Su Junming's uncle. After feeling the sincerity in this sentence, Lin Fengjiao couldn't help but reveal a happy smile on her face. He turned his eyes and looked at Zhang Bao, who was following behind and looking at him furtively. Is this child a descendant of junior brother Qiu Sheng? Uncle Ju had a look of astonishment on his face. He had never told anyone about Zhang Bao's origin, not even his own son. Su Junming smiled and said, I am well versed in Ili, and there are some similarities between the eyebrows of this child and Qiu Sheng. Uncle Ju looked at him deeply. Being able to determine the origin of a person based on his face alone is not something that can be done by simple reasoning. But he didn't delve into it. Seeing everything in his eyes, Su Junming sighed in his heart. After not seeing each other for hundreds of years, the relationship between the two finally broke down. Among the descendants of Qiu Sheng, Wen Cai, Asing, and Xiao Yu, he is the only one who has the qualifications to practice. He was introduced to me to practice under Mission Sect, and he has been practicing since then. Su Junming nodded. Of the four people at the beginning, only Qiu Sheng's qualifications were better. Unfortunately, his temperament was unstable and he was unable to survive the golden elixir tribulation and died before his spiritual energy was revived. With a slap on the gourd on his waist, a magic sword flew towards Zhang Bao. As the distance grew closer, the extremely sharp aura on the magic sword gradually converged. Since you are a descendant of junior brother Qiu Sheng, you can also be regarded as my descendant. This Jingfeng sword is a meeting gift given to you by my elder. Just as he was about to take it happily, he was unexpectedly blocked by his master. Junming, this magic sword is an immortal weapon. It is too precious and not suitable for his use. Zhang Bao was only a man of golden elixir cultivation, and his vision was limited, so he could not see the depth of the Qing Feng sword, but Uncle Ju, who was proficient in weapon refining, was different. It's just for senior brother Qiu Sheng's sake. Moreover, most of the power of this sword has been sealed by me, so it will not be seen as false or true, and senior uncle doesn't have to worry about being guilty of possessing a jade, Su Junming said with a smile. The lowest grade magical weapon in his hand now is the Qing Feng sword obtained from Zhao Kuangaiyan's magical bag. It's just 3 restrictions: he doesn't like it, and plans to use it to reward his disciples. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 798. Chapter 779, Bestowing Treasures. With a flick of his finger, the magic sword instantly sank into Zhang Bao's danshan. Seeing this, Uncle Ju hesitated and said nothing more. Uncle, are you here this time for the 3 UN soul reinforcing pill? Uncle Ju's brows trembled. With his previous experience, he didn't ask Su Junming how he knew. After nodding, he took out a jade box from the bag on his waist. Inside are 3 pine nuts grown from mission's top quality immortal root, Gu Ji Gong, in exchange for 3 UN soul reinforcing pills. Su Junming had originally obtained the main branch of the Gu Ji Gong from mission. After nearly 1,000 years of cultivation and the nourishment of the rich creation aura in the creation aura, he had already accumulated enough foundation to advance to Tai immortal root. So he knew exactly what this pine nut did. Knowing Uncle Ju's character, he didn't pretend to be arrogant. He stretched out his hand, took it over, and gave him 3 UN soul reinforcing pills. After successfully completing this matter, Uncle Ju felt relieved. He finally lived up to the leader's instructions. Seeing Su Junming's dramatic change in temperament, he hesitated for a moment. Have you not been in seclusion? Why did you suddenly come out of seclusion? In the past hundreds of years, Su Junming never told him that he was in another world. Occasionally, the souls are separated and the 2 parties meet, but there is not much intersection between them. Therefore, Uncle Ju has always thought that Su Junming spends most of his time in seclusion. I have made a breakthrough in my cultivation, for example, I am about to ascend. Ascension? Golden Immortal. Su Junming nodded. After Uncle Ju was shocked, he quickly became relieved again. When I first met you in Jiquan Town, I felt that you had superior qualifications and amazing understanding, and that you would have great achievements in the future. But I didn't expect that you would have reached such a state in just 700 or 800 years. Even more so now. To ascend to the upper realm. Sighed. If your master knew, I don't know how happy he would be. Thinking of his master, Taoist priest 4 Eyes, Su Junming had a look of nostalgia on his face. The master who was often careless but caring for him was the person he was closest to in his lifetime. Uncle, I must practice hard and ascend to the upper world in the future. I will definitely see my master again one day. Uncle Ju nodded. He is only in the middle stage of true immortal. If he wants to advance to Xian immortal, he will need hundreds of years of hard training. As for the higher level of golden immortal, it will take at least 2,000 to 3,000 years. There are 2 more heavenly tribulations to overcome in the middle. After such a long time, he didn't know if he could survive until the day when the golden immortal was perfected and advanced to Tai. Uncle, it's rare for me to leave seclusion today, and you happen to be here, why don't you stay a few more days? It's just in time to let the disciples of Chongshan sect see you. They have only seen your portrait when they entered the school, and they have never seen you before. The real person. I'm not a disciple of Chongshan, so I'll keep meeting you. Uncle Ju hesitated. Uncle Master, you are wrong. Although you are not a disciple of Chongshan, you are indeed my elder teacher. Of course, these juniors must pay homage to you. Having said that, Uncle Ju did not give him any time to refute. With a flick of his finger, a stream of light flew into the air and soon turned into a black copper bell. Boom! The bells, like yellow bells and big bells, flew in all directions according to a specific frequency. Let's go. With a wave of his sleeves, Uncle Ju felt his eyes blurred, and the next moment, he was already in a huge hall. Behind it is a vigorous and powerful word Tao. There was an empty space all around, and a thick and extremely tough light golden mist floated on the ground. Uncle, please sit down. Now, although Uncle Ju was a little hesitant, he still sat down in the end. Deep down in his heart, he also wanted to see what kind of development Su Junming's Chongshan Academy had reached so far. He originally thought he would sit directly on the golden cloud, but the moment he sat down, the pale golden cloud rushed up 3 feet like boiling water and turned into a golden lotus, which just held up his body. At the same time, a warmth penetrated into the body and flowed all over the body in an instant, as if he had taken a hot bath on a cold day and felt comfortable all over his body. Zhongbao was curious and quickly followed his master's instructions and sat behind Uncle Ju. Of course Su Junming sat down cross-legged on Uncle Ju's left side, while Lin Zhenying stepped back 3 feet and sat down cross-legged. After the 4 of them sat down, extremely powerful auras descended. Ren Wuji, who looked like a child, appeared on the right side of Uncle Ju. Behind them are Dragon Emperor, Ao Tian, and Tai Zhenjun. Below, Fuxian Great Sage Qin Zhong, Wuji True Monarch Lin Zhenying, Kongsang Fairy Chiao Shaoxin, Qiu Bearded Sword Saint Yan Chixia, Ice Phoenix Fairy Su Huang, Hunyuan Patriarch Chen Lin, Red Flower Madonna Miao Chufang, Zixiao Divine General Yu He, 3 Feng Zhejiang Junbao. The 9 direct disciples of Su Junming's sect are lined up and sitting on the left side. Zhuolong, the master of the 5 sacred mountains, Shang Taijin, the master of Haoshan, Pan Luo, the master of Xianhuang, and Li Shaojing, the Taoist priest of Hesha. And the obese golden Kanzi Sufei. After this 6-winged golden silkworm pupa was combined with the blood of true Lord Tai and the spiritual energy of creation, the innate spirit he transformed into was 80% similar to true Lord Tai, and was completely his own son. They are both good at drinking and have the same fat figure. They are completely cut out of the same mold. The difference lies in cultivation. Tai Zhenjun only practiced the swallowing way, while Su Fei not only practiced the devouring way, but also practiced the sealing way. The 5 of them were not direct descendants of Su Junming, so they were lined up and sat on the right side. Although the 14 second-generation disciples each have strong and weak auras, they are all golden immortals. Behind them are the 3 generations of Chongshan disciples. After nearly 1,000 years and several worlds, there are now 97 people. The strongest Zhuge Liu Yuan, Gongsun Juniang, Yetian Yuan, Zhou Qing and others have reached the middle stage of Xianxian. The last person to get started has already become an immortal. There are relatively few disciples of the 4th generation, only 57. The leader has already achieved immortality, while the one behind is just a golden elixir. The 5th generation of disciples has the smallest number, only 33. Most of them have not become immortals. Looking at the nearly 200 disciples below, Uncle Ju was filled with shock. Because he found that more than half of them had cultivation levels higher than his own. And the aura was so vast that even he felt deeply pressured. Not counting those around him, there were 14 people, including his own son. Have they all become golden immortals? An idea came to Uncle Ju's mind that made him feel ridiculous. I summoned everyone here today because the development of our Chongshan Academy has reached a new stage and needs to be summarized. By the way, I would like all the new disciples to get to know each other and not make a fool of themselves in the future. Finally, I believe you have also seen it. The person sitting next to me is one of the 2 senior ancestors of our sect and my master, Lin Feng Qiao. I'll see you first. Disciple, please pay homage to our uncle. All the disciples bowed respectfully. Uncle Ju, who had not even panicked when being kowtowed by thousands of disciples at the inner gate of Mission South Sect, was actually a little at a loss at this moment. Fortunately, Uncle Ju was Uncle Ju after all. After taking a deep breath, he calmed down. No need to be polite, just get up. Thank you, Uncle. After greeting each other, Su Junming said, Yu He, Li Xiaojing, Su Fei. The disciple is here. My Chongshan sect has always treated everyone equally. Among the second-generation disciples, you are the only three who do not have the inheritance of innate spiritual treasures. Today, I will make up for this shortcoming for you. The three of them were shocked, with a look of anticipation on their faces. Not only them, but many third, fourth, and fifth-generation disciples in the audience, as well as Uncle Ninth, all turned their heads and looked over. It is a great opportunity for others to get one of the innate spiritual treasures. There are three of them as soon as they appear today. His right palm spread out, and thunder suddenly appeared. A Zangbo-long spear flashing with thunder appeared in his hand. Yu He, the name of this spear is the Heavenly Thunder Spear. It is an innate spiritual treasure of the Thunder Dao. I will give it to you today. Thank you, Patriarch. Soon, an exquisite white-sheathed sword flew out. Li Xiaojing. The disciple is here. I, a second-generation disciple of Chongshan, have never had two people practice the same thing. The innate spiritual treasure is extremely precious, so after I already have the innate spiritual treasure of the five elements Tao, the innate five elements will, I will not give any more attributes of the five elements. Do you understand the innate spiritual treasure? Disciple understands that Master and Senior Brother Zuch have already explained it clearly to me. Master, please rest assured that this disciple is dedicated to cultivation and has absolutely no jealousy. Moreover, since the beginning of his apprenticeship, Senior Brother Zuch has taken the initiative to share the sun, moon, and five elements wheel with him. The disciples are in charge together, and the disciples have a deep sense of love and care, and will never do anything that would be disrespectful to the Master. Su Junming nodded with satisfaction. It's good that you can support each other and be friendly to each other. However, I will not favor one against the other. I will give you this white dragon sword to help you defend the law and kill the enemy, and strengthen my Chongshan lineage. Disciple, I obey. Thank you very much, Uncle, for the treasure. Finally, a black ball appeared in Su Junming's hand. The extremely rich devouring Dharma intention emanates from it. Su Fei. The disciple is here. Fat Su Fei quickly stood up, his small eyes looking expectantly at the black ball in Su Junming's hand. This black ball is called Black God and contains the principles of swallowing. I will give it to you today. I hope you will live up to this treasure and strengthen our Chongshan Academy. Master, don't worry. Disciples will work hard to practice and live up to Master's teachings. After Su Junming nodded, he waved his hand and the black ball flew into Su Fei's hands. These three innate spiritual treasures are the three trophies he used in Chixian Shenzhou. The Sirius flag, White Dragon Sword and Dingshen stake were transformed with the help of the incomparably powerful power of heaven and earth after Chongshan World devoured Chixian Shenzhou. Of course, the low-grade innate spiritual treasure Su Junming obtained did not know these three items. The Dragon and Tiger Seal of Tianqi Dao, the Heavenly Thunder of Shenxiao Dao, the Chunyang Sword of Chunyang Dao, and the Wutu Spirit Flag of Kongtong Dao all fell upon Zhang Chongyang, Wang Wenqing and others as they were captured in his hands. But there was no enmity between the two parties, and they both belonged to the Taoist sect, so he did not intend to kill them all. Therefore, these town sect spiritual treasures were not taken away. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 799. Chapter 780, 3 Purities of Taoism, 15 Secret Traditions. looking at the third, fourth, and fifth generation disciples below with envious faces. Su Junming slapped the gourd on his waist, and nearly 100 streams of light flew out in an instant. In an instant, the infinite precious light spread out like the sun and moon. The mighty energy filled the air, like a river flowing across the ocean. Uncle Ju looked at the treasures all over the sky, and the calmness he had cultivated over hundreds of years completely collapsed in an instant. What did he see? There are nearly 20 pieces of treasures at the level of top-quality immortal weapons. There are actually nearly 100 pieces of high-grade immortal weapons left, which are the treasures that the major forces in the cultivation world are competing for. There are thousands of other top-grade and top-quality spiritual roots, elixirs, spiritual fires, and spiritual waters. Take out any item here and put it outside, it will be the top treasure that everyone is fighting for. But today there are so many stars here? If he hadn't been very aware of his current state, he would have fallen into a dream. These treasures are all obtained by me and your uncles practicing Taoism. There is no need to keep them in my hands. I will give them to you today. As soon as these words came out, the disciples who had already been enthusiastic in their hearts cheered instantly. Thank you, Patriarch, for the treasure. The sound is continuous. Seeing their excited expressions, Su Junming smiled and said, second-generation disciples will not participate in the division of treasures. The other third, fourth, and fifth generation disciples will only have one chance each. All you need to do is release your spiritual consciousness and sense as many items as you want. Don't be greedy for too many. I will obey the order of my ancestor. After Su Junming nodded, the elders and younger ones are in order. Liu Yun, you are the chief of the third generation, so you should start first, right? Disciple, obey. After Zhuge Liu Yun's consciousness dispersed, the precious light that he saw before disappeared instantly, like the sun and moon. There are only 3 treasures left above that are still emitting strong treasure light. Knowing that only these 3 items were destined for him, he was enveloped by his spiritual consciousness and took them into his hands. These are 3 crystal balls the size of a child's fist. There are 3 things wrapped in the middle. On the left was a piece of dark golden spiritual material. Although it was blocked by a crystal ball, he still recognized it at a glance as the top-grade metallic spiritual material Dark Shine Spirit Gold, which was the best spiritual material for refining fairy swords. In the middle crystal ball is an extremely miniature pine tree. It was he who wrote the colorful splendid pine in the spiritual root chapter of Zhi Wuji, one of the main textbooks of Chongshan Academy, compiled by the ancestor himself. The last crystal ball is a medicine bottle. With this black radiant spirit gold, you will have no shortage of main materials to train your natal double swords to the best immortal weapons in the future. The colorful brocade pine can be planted in your cave, which will be of great benefit. There are 12 pills in the medicine bottle. Tian Huang pill will help you practice. After hearing the words of his ancestor, Zhuge Liu Yun bowed to express his thanks. Although he didn't get those top-notch immortal weapons, as a sword cultivator, he couldn't use them. What's more, he has no shortage of immortal weapons. The Tian Huang Pearl and the Tai Golden Dragon Boat are both top-notch immortal weapons. No matter how much it is, it will only be at the bottom of the box, which is a waste. After Zhuge Liu Yun came Fu Qingfeng. What she got was not an immortal weapon, but a bottle of Tian Huang pill, a Lanshan jade spiritual root, and 12 drops of the spiritual water of creation. Like Zhuge Liu Yun, she also has 3 top-notch fairy weapons, the Qingfeng water control flag, the Qingni sword, and the demon binding lock, plus the great magical power I Soul divine light, so she doesn't need any fairy weapons. Later, Gongsun Juniang, Yang Rong, Zhou Qing, Lin Rui, etc., who had become disciples of Chongshan sect as early as 500 years ago and have now become Xianxian disciples, have not obtained the immortal weapons. On the contrary, it was Gao Chong, the third disciple of Qin Zhong's sect, who obtained the ultimate immortal weapon Purple Dragon Spear refined by Su Junming using Zhao Kuangaiyan's copper rod. Lin Zhengying's new disciple Fang Ying obtained the ultimate immortal artifact Tai Chi Stone Drum. Yang Yunqian, a disciple of Chiao Shaoxin, obtained the Fire Spirit Pearl, the most precious treasure of the Nanhai Dragon clan in Qi County. Qin Hain received Wan Yanzhen's natal magical weapon, the Kailan Treasure Staff. All the gains from the sweep of Chixian Shenzhou, including Li Gui, the Iron Zen Staff, the Poison Dragon Sword, the Dragon Emperor's Sirius Flag, etc. that were used to suppress the Tai Golden Ship were all brought out. Although the best immortal weapons are valuable, few people can use them. It would be a waste to keep it in your hands, so just use it all to reward your disciples to enhance their strength. For a time, everyone has something to gain and everyone has something to gain. The hall was filled with joy. These little bastards are so happy. I have the 9 treasures of the Tai Golden Boat. Now I only have 3 pieces left, Hichu Luoshu, Swanyan Gourd, and Soul-Slaying Sword. Tai Zhenjun shook his head and sighed. This is called removing Wukanjing, the Dragon Emperor said coldly. Hichuluo Shushu is a top-grade immortal treasure that has fallen down the grade. In the future, it will come to the upper world and be nurtured with spiritual energy. It will not be difficult to recover. The Swanyan Gourd is originally the Tai immortal treasure. The soul-slaying sword corresponds to Tai Zhenjun's natal soul path great magical power 2-5 soul-severing sword, so he kept it. Compared with these 3 pieces, other Qinghong relics, Poison Dragon Sword, etc. have much lower potential. Lao Wu, when we come to the fairy world in the future, are you afraid that you won't be able to use it anymore? Ren Wuji said with a smile. He, I need a lot of help from you. Su Junming glanced at him and said nothing more. Several people were using their spiritual consciousness to transmit their voices, but it was not uncommon for Uncle Ju to hear them. This treasure distribution lasted for nearly an hour. After they each got their treasures, Su Junming gave them some admonitions and encouragement, and then they left. I never thought that Chongshan Academy would have such strong strength, Uncle Ju sighed. Although it was only less than 2 hours, he could also see that each of these direct disciples of Chongshan he saw were fairy pearls and seeds of cultivation. Great achievements ahead. In Mission Nanzang, there are only 4 or 5 such disciples in total. But in Chongshan Academy, there are more than 200. Moreover, when it comes to cultivation, it far surpasses other major sects outside. He really didn't know how Su Junming could accumulate such amazing power in just a few hundred years. Looking at the nephew who was walking, sitting and lying around him, he exuded an extraordinary dignity. Junming, you are so outstanding in terms of cultivation and leadership skills. My uncle is far inferior to you and has nothing to teach you. I just hope that you can maintain your original intention in the future, think about the common people in the world, and stick to the right path. Disciple, please remember Master's teachings. After saying that, the rainbow light flashed in his left palm, and a piece of pure yang jade flew out. Surprisingly, it is also a pure yang immortal weapon with 12 treasures. Uncle, this pure yang jade pendant was made by me myself. Please accept it, Uncle. Uncle Ju shook his head firmly. I have received enough favors from you, so let's forget about this pure yang jade match. Uncle. No need to say more. I know your filial piety, but extending your hands too much is not a good thing. Moreover, the pure yang lotus you gave me last time is enough for me. This piece of pure yang jade belongs to me. It's also a waste in your hands. After that, he turned around and walked outside. Master. Seeing Lin Zhengying hesitate to speak, Su Junming waved his hand. The latter quickly took Lin Rui and hurriedly chased his father. 3 generations of their grandparents have not seen each other for a long time. Today is a rare opportunity, so we must reminisce about the past. I'm just saying, you definitely can't give this pure yang jade away. Tai Zhenjun licked his face and came closer. Su Junming glanced at him and put the jade pendant into the green gourd around his waist. Turned around and went to the backyard. My dear, you can't use this jade pendant. Why don't you help me suppress the Tai golden ship? Young Guanao, do you still have few treasures? Go, 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 keep nagging. When I get to the upper realm, I will not give you the fairy treasure even if I get it. Lao Wu, you are really a money fan, Renwuji sneered. Tai Zhenjun rolled his eyes at him. It's not you who is bleeding emotionally. He came to sit in the pavilion beside the creation spirit pond. Renwuji, Long Di, and Ao Tian who left earlier are all here. Handing the jade slip in his hand to Su Junming, Ao Tian smiled and said, with the Shangqing Dragon and Tiger scripture from Longhu Mountain, the Chunyang Heart Sutra from the Chunyang sect, and the Yuking Zifa Sutra from the Kongtong sect, we have finally collected enough of the secrets of the three purities. Su Junming took the jade slip and put it away carefully. It contains not only the secret biography of the three pure ones, but also the Book of Five Thunders of Shen Xiao written by Shen Xiao Dao. Zhao Kuangyan majored in Qinggui Zifuzheng. Zhao Pu majored in Tai Yi Lingshu. The Jin Kingdom royal family majored in the Mushin Sutra and so on, totaling 15 scriptures. All come from the top forces in China in Qi County. In particular, the Taoist scriptures directly transmitted by the five major kingdoms and the fundamental scriptures directly transmitted by Taoist sects all involve the cultivation techniques of the higher Tai realm. At most half a century, I will be able to deduce the Tai chapter of the Yuan Yang Sutra and perfect the branch techniques such as the I Soul Sutra, the Purple-Green Sword Sutra, and the Chunyang Sutra. By then, we can also go to the upper world with peace of mind. Haha, I'm finally leaving. I've had enough of staying here for 800 years, Renwuji smiled happily. As the earliest Dharma body separated from Su Junming, he has always stayed in the Five-Finger Peak Cave heaven and rarely went out. Really suffocated? Ao Tian? After half a century, you will take action to destroy the heavenly Dao in this world and restore the world to its original size. The excess power of the world will bless the 13 states at the core of the Chongshan world. Why not integrate directly like Chixian Shenzhou? Ao Tian said in surprise. There are too many monotheistic religions in this world, and all kinds of black and white things are rampant. I don't want these people to pollute the world of Chongshan. From now on, let them continue to be involved here. In addition, the area of the 3,000 small thousand worlds has been reduced to 200,000 miles. All the extra spiritual power will be used to strengthen the core 13 states. In the future, one of the laws of heaven in Chongshan world will be changed. As long as the monks survive the nascent soul heavenly tribulation, they must ascend to the 13 core states. This will prevent them from reaching too high a level and start fighting with each other, destroying the small thousand world. As a result, the length and width of the 13 states at the core of Chongshan world will probably exceed tens of billions of miles, Ao Tian said. The 3,000 small worlds in Chongshan world are all large worlds that are millions of miles apart, or even tens of millions of miles across. After devouring Chixian Shenzhou, it became more than twice as powerful. If all is used to strengthen the core, the area of the core 13 states will inevitably increase sharply. And this does not include the Chinese world. 10 billions is worth tens of billions. It takes trillions to overcome the tribulation and advance to the world. We are still very early. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 800. Time flies, and another 60 years passes in the blink of an eye. Everything in the Chinese world remains as before. Although cultivation is no longer a secret, technology has not been abandoned. After all, there are only a few people who are qualified to practice, and most of them are ordinary people. Sun seeing is the most typical example. When I was in elementary school, I was found to have low qualifications. Although I was admitted to a key class, in middle school, I realized that I was not one of the most favored students when my classmates with average qualifications appeared around me. Only when I got to high school and my classmates with advanced qualifications appeared did I know what true genius was. After barely finishing college, he joined a primary school as a teacher based on his innate skills gained from years of hard training. Although there is no hope for a golden elixir, fortunately, the job is easy and decent, and the salary is good. Compared with many classmates who entered the society early and are still engaged in various heavy physical labor, he is already considered a success. Teacher son, would you like to have dinner together tonight? A crisp voice interrupted Sun Xing's turbulent thoughts. Turning around, a beautiful woman wearing a black one-step skirt, a white floral t-shirt, and black hair tied back appeared in front of her. Sun Xing knew her, the new math teacher in the school. Because of her tall figure and good looks, she is the dream lover of many single male teachers. Ever since they found out about his identity as a monk and that he was single and unmarried, they launched an offensive against him. However, Sun Xing is not interested in her. The other half he hopes is also a qualified monk. In this way, if the two people combine, the next generation will have a greater chance of having intermediate or even superior qualifications. Just when he was about to refuse, there was a bang, and thunder suddenly exploded in the clear sky. The mighty thunder was deafening. The female teacher opposite was so frightened that she turned pale and screamed. Even Sun Xing, who has advanced cultivation and excellent psychological quality, almost jumped up. After quickly calming down, he looked up into the sky. But he saw that the originally cloudless sky was now filled with billowing clouds, howling wind, and densely packed dazzling electric snakes all over the sky. The scene that seemed like the end of the world made everyone tremble with fear. However, as a monk with keen senses, Sun Xing instinctively felt a strong anger. This anger came for no reason, but it surged from the bottom of his heart and could not be contained. In an instant, the thunder snakes all over the sky gathered together and formed a huge lightning with almost no edges visible. It flew straight towards the universe with earth-shattering power. At this moment, if you stand outside the Chinese world, you can see a mighty thunder and lightning spear that is as big as 1,000,000 feet, spanning trillions of miles of space, and flying straight outside. At the end of it is a huge tree that is more than 10 times larger than the entire Chinese world. Haha, just lightning, what can you do to me? A majestic voice rushed out from the sacred tree, which was larger than the galaxy in the universe. Immediately afterwards, the extremely sharp and huge lightning was swallowed by the tree crown as if eating noodles. Although the body of the sacred tree is huge, its speed is not enough. In just a moment, it swallowed 1/4 of the trillions of miles of void in the Chinese world. Boom boom boom. The mighty thunder resounded across the sky, like an angry roar. Endless spiritual energy gathered rapidly. At the same time, a golden light flew from the west. But in an instant, a huge, mountain-like golden cabinet appeared in the air. The cabinet is rectangular in shape, with olive leaf patterns engraved on the corners and patterns on each side. At the top are 2 6-winged angels wearing robes, facing each other, half kneeling on the ground. The huge white golden cabinet slowly opened with a bang sound. The overwhelming white aura was like a vast river, flying straight towards the giant tree with powerful sealing power. It's just a middle-grade innate spiritual treasure. I have it too. Boom, a 1,000,000-foot 12-story giant tower flew down from the giant tree. A powerful force of swallowing flew out from the bottom of the tower, locking the white aura tightly. At the same time, a gigantic sword flew out, followed by a milky white aura of creation that landed on the giant sword. As if taking Shiquan pill, the already powerful sword light instantly expanded hundreds of times. The sword energy, like light and electricity, was like the Milky Way in the 9 heavens, reaching the top of the Chinese world in the blink of an eye. Suddenly, 72 bone-white giant pillars appeared in mid-air. Each giant pillar is hundreds of thousands of feet high, and each giant pillar is embossed with a sculpture with a beast head and human body, a human head and an animal body, or 8 arms, or multiple arms and legs, with strange shapes but powerful auras. 72 giant pillars were arranged in a formation, blocking Xianhe's sword light. Hey, 72 demon god pillars? It's really extraordinary. But let's see how you can resist my Earth Emperor seal. The majestic voice fell, the milky white spiritual energy of creation descended mightily, and a large bright yellow seal, with an unparalleled momentum that was as heavy as a mountain, struck toward the Chinese world in a mighty manner. Clang! The fierce clash of gold and iron echoed throughout the world. A huge Egyptian pyramid blocked the falling Earth Emperor seal. Is there really a treasure? Come again. The blue-gold light skyrocketed, and a huge treasure mirror rose slowly like the bright moon in the water. The mirror light, as clear as a bay of autumn water, flew towards the Chinese world with powerful spatial power. Renwuji, who was in the world of mountains, suddenly opened his eyes. It's calling my yin-yang grind. It seems that Kazu's skills have been exhausted, Tai Zhenjun said with a smile. The presence of 2 Tai-level immortal treasures, the 72 demonic pillars and the pyramid, is enough to show that this world has a profound foundation, said the Dragon Emperor. Ouch! With a huge roar, a golden scepter appeared in the air. On the top of the scepter, there is a relief sculpture of a giant golden snake with 2 wings on its back and a single horn on its top. At this moment, the giant snake roared, highlighting a vast silvery white light. This is the extremely pure innate Tai Zhenjun spiritual energy. Another one. Tai Zhenjun's eyes widened. The scepter of Quetzalcoatl, is it the most treasured treasure in the Mayan civilization? Su Junming used the bronze mirror in his dantian to gaze at the battle of heaven and earth between the 2 worlds in mid-air, without feeling nervous. Although there are many immortal treasures in the Chinese world, they are not as good as his Chongshan world. When it comes to the amount of power of heaven and earth, the other side is even more disparate. Even if they fight for consumption, the Chinese world is no match. Really? When Ao Tian used the power of the world to activate the Tai circle and hit the heavenly way of the Chinese world like lightning, no new treasures appeared. Boom! Thunder exploded and the heaven and earth shook. A huge tsunami set off throughout the Chinese world, the earth trembled, volcanoes erupted, and the scene of the end of the world became more serious. There was a heavy, blood-red rain falling in the sky, and a sad mood filled the sky and the earth. Tai circle rose into the sky and struck down again with thunderous force. At the same time, the Emperor's Tower, the Earth Emperor's Seal, the Human Emperor's Sword, the Void Divine Mirror, and the Creation Spirit Pond all exerted force at the same time. Boom! An indescribable loud noise. It's like the heaven and earth are beginning to open. The extremely powerful impact swept through the 9 heavens and dispersed the clouds. Almost everyone saw the huge immortal treasures hanging in the sky, as well as the sacred tree that was bigger than the stars in the universe. At the same time, volcanoes, earthquakes, and tsunamis stopped in an instant. There was pouring rain in the sky and the earth, and an inexorable sadness permeated everyone's heart. They know that heaven and earth are dead. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 801. Chapter 782 7 Types of 5th Level, Tai Divine Thunder. Su Junming and others looked at the world hundreds of millions of miles away, filled with blood and sorrow, and felt a little complicated in their hearts. He sighed heavily. I have always thought that I was a good person, but now it seems that I am exactly the same as those ordinary people who eat whole grains and are full of greed, ignorance, anger, love, and hatred. The only difference is that I am higher than them in cultivation. Isn't this what you have been pursuing and advocating? Don't be a ruthless immortal, but a person who loves, hates, and hates Taijianjun said calmly after taking a sip of wine. Where can there be so much sentimentality? We replace the way of heaven with the way of humanity. Although the process seems cruel. But in the future, it will not take 12,000 years to measure the calamity. There are countless living people, which is also a great merit, Renwuji said. The weak eat the strong, this has been the case since ancient times. The Dragon Emperor's words were still so cold. Su Junming nodded. The way of heaven in this Chinese world is dead. According to the previous plan, let's absorb and refine it. Ao Tian, the god of heaven in the world of Chongshan, drove Jianmu forward slowly. But seeing, the infinite spiritual energy was swallowed by Jianmu. The huge world, which was already close to 1 billion miles in length and breadth, began to shrink slowly. On the contrary, Chongshan world began to grow rapidly. All people in the Chinese world clearly feel that there seems to be an infinite power compressing the entire world. The spiritual energy between heaven and earth is rapidly decreasing. Moreover, all the monks above nascent soul felt a powerful and completely irresistible attraction. Their bodies flew up involuntarily and disappeared into the black hole that suddenly appeared in mid-air. For a time, the world was in chaos. This compressed journey of the Chinese world ended after 3 years. Having absorbed the Chongshan world of Chixian Shenzhou, it has a stronger digestion ability. However, in the end, it was not compressed into a small world spanning 120,000 miles as Su Junming had predicted. Instead, it remained at 300,000 miles. After all, it has been hundreds of years since the spiritual energy of the Chinese world was revived, and the population has been growing, and now it has reached 40 to 50 billion. The original world can no longer be let go. Since eastern China has a larger population, the land it occupies has tripled from its original size. A quarter of the world's population requires a quarter of the world's land to support it. Su Junming, Renwuji, Dragon Emperor, Ao Tian, and Taijianjun were sitting cross-legged. Suspended in front of him was a 1-foot 2-inch pyramid glowing with mysterious light, a golden staff of Quetzalcoatl, a golden ark, 72 black stone pillars, and a small tree with lush branches. These are the most precious treasures in the Chinese world, and they are also things that they can appreciate. The pyramid, the golden staff of Quetzalcoatl and the 72 demon pillars are all fairy treasures. The pyramid has the highest level and is a top-grade immortal treasure restricted by the 9 realms. Although the Quetzalcoatl's golden staff is also a top-grade immortal treasure, it only has 7 Tai immortal taboos. The 72 demon god pillars, except for the reliefs of the supreme 4 pillars Baal, Baimon, Astalu, and Asmod, have 6 restrictions and are middle-grade immortal treasures. The remaining 68 demon pillars are all low-grade immortal treasures from the 3 Tai immortal forbiddens. However, among the 3 Tai immortal treasures, the 72 demon god pillars are indeed the strongest. Because they can cooperate with each other to form a powerful magic array that combines 4 images internally and 8 trigrams externally, its power is no less powerful than the best fairy treasures. The Golden Ark is the Chinese world. Besides Renwuji's Yin and Yang Great Mill, there is another middle-grade innate spiritual treasure. And it fits the seal. No matter whether it is a monk, a Taoist, or a magic weapon, as long as it is not too much higher than the level of the ark, once it is illuminated by the golden light of the ark, it will be sealed instantly. Although a top-grade innate spiritual treasure was extremely precious, Su Junming valued this leafy little tree more. As mentioned above, no matter in any world, a spiritual root will be born when the 3 most precious treasures of creation are created. Therefore, in the Chinese world, in addition to the 2 middle-grade innate spiritual treasures, the Yin-Yang Great Mo and the Ark of the Covenant, there is also a middle-grade innate spiritual root. That is this green little tree. It's called Emerald Tree. Although it is not the fruit tree that Su Junming is most looking forward to, its leaves can be used as medicine. In addition, it is far more powerful than the innate red fruit in clearing turbidity, so it is precious. Su Junming waved his hand, and the Ark of the Covenant and the emerald tree fell into his hands. These two treasures are mine. My lord, we agreed that one person would do one thing, and you can't take the lead in breaking the rules, Tai Zhenjun said. Most of the 9-story building of his Tai golden ship is now vacant. He finally got a piece of this precious treasure, so of course he has to keep a close eye on it. She rolled her eyes at him. One medium-grade innate spiritual treasure for each person. You already have the Tai circle, but you are still thinking about the Golden Covenant Ark? The reason why I want this treasure is to leave it to the non-poison Dharma body. As soon as he said this, everyone else looked over. The sixth child is about to be born, Ren Wuji asked curiously. I guess after I survive the catastrophe, I will become the Tai Celestial Queen. Although he said this, Su Junming was not completely sure. The further back the seven-soul Dharmakaya is, the harder it is to cut it out. Haha, I really wonder what Laolu will be like, Tai Zhenjun said with a smile. I don't know about others, but they will definitely not be as fat as you, Ren Wuji said. She glanced at him with disdain and said, what do you know? What I call richness is a symbol of blessing. Hey, who cares? While the two were bickering, the Dragon Emperor waved and took the Quetzalcoatl scepter into his hand. Third brother, you are so treacherous, you actually did it secretly. The Dragon Emperor looked indifferent and said calmly, childish. Seeing the depressed looks on their faces, Ao Tian laughed. Ha ha ha, the third child is right. Regardless of arguing with the Dragon Emperor, Ren Wuji took away the 72 demon pillars, and Tai Zhenjun took away the pyramid. Although Li Gui had already been given to Panluo's second disciple Chen Qinglan by Su Junming during the last treasure distribution. But he still prefers this kind of silly, big, black, and thick baby. To see who is unhappy, secretly throw a brick at them, which is not very pleasant at all. Ao Tian didn't take any of the treasures. As the heavenly Dao of the Chongshan world, he had 3 treasures, the Emperor's Tower, the Earth Emperor's Seal and the Human Emperor's Sword. When are you going to survive the tribulation? As soon as the Dragon Emperor spoke, everyone else looked over at Su Junming. Due to the mystery of the 7 spirits Dharmakaya, the level of cultivation of the deity will not limit their improvement in cultivation. But as the deity, Su Junming has the most abundant capital, the strongest strength, and the highest success rate in overcoming the tribulation. He started first so that everyone could be aware of it. After some brief consideration. In 3 days. I still have some trivial matters to deal with. As soon as he finished speaking, a sudden burst of calamity aura fell from the sky, and even the numerous restrictions in Chongshan residence could not conceal it. Everyone looked at each other and saw the surprise in each other's eyes. Su Junming's expression changed. It's Tiangong Hall. As soon as he took a step, his figure disappeared instantly. Dragon Emperor and others quickly followed. After everyone arrived at the Tiangong Hall, they instantly saw the faint aura of calamity wrapped around the Tiangong Divine Furnace. Su Junming, who was mentally connected to the Tiangong Divine Furnace, looked excited. He stretched out his hand and a golden lotus flower flew out from the Divine Furnace. At this moment, an astonishing medicinal energy became stronger and stronger, turning into a milky white Ganodermal lucidum above the golden lotus. At the same time, a refreshing medicinal fragrance filled the entire Tiangong Hall. Of course, the calamity aura is getting stronger and stronger. This is the Tai Ren Huang Dan that I have been practicing for hundreds of years without success. Tai Zhenjun said in surprise. It seems that this furnace pill is about to be finished. As soon as Ren Wuji finished speaking, he saw Su Junming holding a lotus in his hand and instantly flew out of Chongshan residence and came to Chongshan world. The thunder that gathered in the sky seemed to have found its target and fell down instantly. Boom! 100-foot divine thunder suddenly struck down. Red. Tei Divine Thunder. Su Junming thought. After practicing for nearly 1,000 years, he now understands that there are 5 levels and 7 types of thunder. The 5th level, Zifulei, Xiandulei, Teilei, De Donglei and Zixiaolei. Zifulei can be used by monks who have not become immortals, while Xiandulei can be used by Yuanyang immortal. Yuanyangxian is the information Su Junming obtained from the memories of Zhao Kuangyan, Wanyan Zonghan and others after he raided Chixian Shenzhou. In the higher level of the universe, the heavenly immortal to the golden immortal above the Yuanshen is called the first stage of immortality, which is the Yuanyang immortal. The second stage is Taiyi immortal, and the third stage is De Luo immortal. In the fourth stage, Zhao Kuangyan and others did not know, and Su Junming also did not know. The messenger of Tei immortal is Tei Thunder. The great Luo immortal's envoy is the Big Cave Thunder. As for the highest level of Purple Sky Thunder, Su Junming didn't know what stage of monks could control it. It might be the legendary Immortal Saint, or the Hunyuan de Luo Golden Immortal. This realm is too far away from him, and he can't even guess it. The 5th grade thunder is divided into 7 types. The 5 elements of thunder include Yang thunder, Yin thunder, and metal, wood, water, fire and earth. All thunders in the world are basically covered by these 5 and 7 types. At this moment, Huangdan from Tei is experiencing Teilei. Fortunately, this furnace of elixir lived up to his hundreds of years of hard work and nourishing it with spiritual energy every day, and 12 thunderbolts struck it down. A milky white cloud rose into the sky, followed by a strong medicinal fragrance. It happened that a black hawk flew around, smelled the fragrance of the medicine, and instantly opened his spiritual wisdom, understood the practice, and based on the source deep in the bloodline, he transformed into success. An invisible force flashed past, catching the transformed hawk demon and quickly disappearing. In order to avoid the accumulation of conflicts between humans and demons in the Chongshan world and triggering a war, Su Jun will set up a large formation early in the morning. All animals that turn into monsters will be restrained and captured as soon as possible and sent to Chongshan Academy to study. They will know the benefits and lead them to the right path. The strong medicinal energy spread over half an acre and lasted for a long time. Su Junming waved his hand, and the golden lotus fell into his hand. After opening it, there were 72 pills inside, 30 of which were black and gray and had obviously become useless pills. The remaining 42 are dazzling with golden light and their aura is compelling. My lord, was it successful? Tei Zhenjun and others flew over. Su Junming nodded. Finally, I have lived up to these hundreds of years of hard work. As he spoke, he stretched out his hand and a golden elixir the size of a dragon's eye flew out. Under the golden light, the entire pill seemed translucent, with clouds inside covering it, which was extremely mysterious. The medicinal energy is so abundant, at least 1,000 times more than the 3 emperors' pill, Renwuji exclaimed. Several others nodded in agreement. My dear, how many pills can each of you take? Tei Zhenjun rubbed his hands, his eyes filled with fire. After a brief consideration, I reached out and made a move. 24 golden elixirs are divided into 3 parts. 8 pills for each person, we will use them when we go to the upper world in the future. Ao Tian was a heavenly Dao, and his cultivation level increased with the promotion of Chongshan world. Therefore, although the Huangdan from Tei was good, it did not have much effect on him, so Su Junming did not give it to him. Your potion of medicinal liquid has been refined in Chixian Shenzhou for more than 300 years, but it has not turned into an elixir. Why is it suddenly made now? The Dragon Emperor frowned. Maybe it's because Chongshan world has been promoted, Ao Tian said. What's the meaning? Look. Ao Tian waved his hand, and images of the 13 states at the core of Chongshan world appeared in front of him. Why is it so big? Renwuji asked in surprise. The 3 middle thousand worlds combined into one, coupled with the collection of countless small thousand worlds, The area of the 13 states at the core of Chongshan world now exceeds tens of billions of miles. And after crossing this limit, I instantly realized that the world of Chongshan can already accommodate Tei Celestial Immortal. Tei Celestial Immortal? Does that mean we can still practice without ascending? Tei Genjun said quickly. Good. If the core 13 states can exceed 100 billion in the future, Chongshan world can accommodate Tei True Immortal, 500 billion miles can accommodate Tei Xianxian, 900 billion miles can accommodate Tei Golden Immortal. Ao Tian didn't say anything later, but everyone knew it. If the core area of the Zhongqian world can reach 1 trillion miles, we can survive the catastrophe and become a decent world. Tei Ren Huangdan is the elixir taken by Tei Celestial Immortal, so after the promotion of heaven and earth, it has the opportunity to be refined. Ao Tian said. I see. Su Junming nodded. Through divine sense induction, it turned out that the surrounding aura was hundreds of times richer than before. Haha, now I don't have to go to the upper world, and I can continue to practice and improve. Tei Genjun said happily. You can stay if you want. I have long planned to go to the upper world for a trip. Renwuji has been holding back in the Chinese world for hundreds of years, and he has long had enough. He now wants to overcome the tribulation as soon as possible and go to the unfamiliar upper world to relax. Then you should be careful. There are many Tei level immortals in the world. He, I have the Yin Yang Great Mo to protect me, and I have the Azure Divine Sect as a retreat. I can't run away even if I can't defeat you. After a pause, the conversation changed. Fat man, you're not going to be a coward here, are you? Tei Genjun snorted coldly. I'm not stupid. The concentration of spiritual energy in the world of Chongshan is countless times different from that of the world. If you practice here, within 100 years, you will be left behind by a bastard like you. I don't want to see you brat showing off your power in front of me. Okay, now the elixir is finished. Let's all go back. In 3 days, come and watch me overcome the tribulation. After saying this, Su Junming walked towards Chongshan residence, holding the golden lotus in his arms. Several people looked at each other and followed. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 802. Looking at the emerald tree in front of him that was 10,000 feet tall, Su Junming showed a look of satisfaction on his face. This is the second middle grade innate spiritual root in his hand, besides the innate vermilion fruit next to him. Although it is not like the former, it has magical effects in refining alchemy and can be used as the main medicine, but the latter's ability to sort out turbidity is indeed dozens of times that of the innate red fruit, and its branches can also be used to refine weapons. Coupled with the leaves and buds that can assist in elixir refining, the application is quite balanced. When we ascend to the upper realm in the future and have more immortal roots at the Tei level, coupled with this emerald tree, we can further improve the Tei Ren Huangdan and further understand the formula of the Tei Di Huangdan. Su Junming thought to himself. There was a flash of light, and the figures of Dragon Emperor, Renwuji, and others appeared around them. Are they all here? Asked the Dragon Emperor. Su Junming nodded slowly. Let's go. With one step, he appeared in the hall of Chongshan residence the next moment. Dragon Emperor and others followed closely behind. Meet my mentor, uncle. 14 second-generation disciples, including Qin Zhong and Lin Zhenying, stood respectfully in the hall. Get up. I think your uncle has already told you. We wish our mentor, uncle, to survive the catastrophe and ascend to the upper world, everyone said loudly. After slightly nodding, you have all reached the level of Golden Immortal, and the next step is to overcome the tribulation. Today, I let you watch me overcome the tribulation, so that you can have an idea when talking about yourselves in the future. Yes. Come with me. Everyone followed Su Junming to the 9 heavens of Chongshan world. Looking at the vast stars above his head, Su Junming took a breath and no longer suppressed the breath in his body. In an instant, the billowing energy and blood rose into the sky like a volcano erupting. The surging mana is like a sea tide, sweeping in all directions. The tyrannical power shocked Qin Zhong and other disciples. They are not the Dragon Emperor and others, and they have almost never seen what the master looks like when he explodes with all his strength. But now I see that I can't think of a better adjective besides tyrannical. Even though they were separated by 100,000 miles, the powerful aura like an ancient mountain still made them unable to compete at all. Call. Accompanied by the strong wind, the calamity energy filled the sky as fast as a galloping horse, and quickly gathered above Su Junming. In just a moment, the thick lead cloud had covered a radius of 90,000 miles, and was still expanding rapidly. No, get back. Dragon Emperor, Renwuji, Tai Zhenjun, and Ao Tian suddenly changed their expressions and quickly retreated with Qin Zhong and others. Only after exiting 180,000 miles did the black clouds really stop. Looking at the electric sparks flashing in the distance, the dark, thick, and extremely depressing black clouds of calamity. Master! Lin Zhenying, Qiao Shaoxin and other disciples all had worried looks on their faces. Su Junming stood in mid-air, frowning slightly, looking at the calamity clouds in the sky. The scale of this disaster far exceeded his expectations. If everything goes well, Yuan Yang Golden Immortal needs to survive the 8 or 9 heavenly tribulations before he can advance to the Tai realm and ascend to the upper realm. According to the information he collected from the Song, Jin, Liao and other countries of China in Qi County, the scale of the 89 heavenly tribulation was about 900 million miles. But now the scale of his calamity cloud has reached 180,000 miles, which is almost double the amount. The power is also extremely powerful. Could it be that the calamity of my dual cultivation of martial arts and Taoism is different from that of my single cultivation? I secretly guessed in my heart. Forget it, let me see how strong you are. With a thought in his heart, his physical body grew stronger in the wind, reaching 12,000 feet in the blink of an eye. The originally loose green robe was tied around the waist, revealing Xiong Jian's strong upper body, as if the muscles were twisted into steel wires, containing the power to destroy mountains and climb mountains. The extremely strong arms are like 2 pillars of heaven. The black hair on the back of his head spread out, and under the strong wind, a wild and domineering aura spread. Just like the previous tribulations, this time he also wanted to let the golden immortal heavenly tribulation turn into a forging hammer in his hand, polishing his body that he had perfected for 400 years in the golden immortal, eliminating the bad and retaining the good, and taking a further step forward. Boom! Accompanied by bursts of thunder, the electric flowers twisted into huge thunder snakes. Next moment. Boom! The dark world suddenly became bright. A 300-foot dark blue thunder struck down instantly. Although its size is far smaller than Su Junming's body, it is extremely powerful. The sharp lightning left a red mark on his left shoulder and instantly flowed throughout his body. For a moment, Su Junming seemed to be enveloped in a huge blue power grid. The jumping thunder was like countless knives and axes, trying to cut through the muscles, but in the end it was in vain. With a thought in his heart, a huge azure drum with a diameter of thousands of feet and embossed Kuei Niu patterns on all sides emerged from above his head. The Kuei Niu pattern seemed to come to life, and he opened his mouth to swallow it. The scattered lightning on the body was instantly sucked away. The first thunder tribulation could not pose any threat to his physical body, and Su Junming did not want to waste time on it. After the thunder tribulation comes the wind tribulation. The strange dark wind blew in from the Yongquan point on the solace of the feet, and soon came to the internal organs, like a sharp razor, trying to tear everything in front of it. Like the previous thunder and lightning, the first wind tribulation posed no threat to him. After the wind tribulation is the fire tribulation, and after the fire tribulation are the remaining 5 elements, the metal tribulation, the wood tribulation, the water tribulation, the earth tribulation, and as recorded in the classics, the last yin tribulation that appears in the Yuan Yang Jingxian celestial tribulation. Yin tribulation is also called cold tribulation. Su Junming only felt a chill that pierced his heart, emerging from his body, and then instantly enveloped his internal organs and limbs. The kind of cold air radiating from the inside out makes people feel like their minds are frozen. Fortunately, he was strong enough and easily survived the first wave of netherworld. If nothing else happens, the second catastrophe will follow. Before the thought fell, endless scorching heat enveloped him from all directions. This heat was different from flames. There was no burning feeling at all. Instead, it seemed like a kind of heat coming from the bottom of my heart. It makes you want to peel off your skin and flesh, dig out your heart and throw it away. After surviving this wave, Su Junming suddenly understood. Yin and Yang complement each other and restrain each other. This is the Yang tribulation. At this time, Yan Chixia and others who were watching from a distance also became confused. Four uncles, Yuan Yang Golden Immortals tribulations, aren't they all 8 or 9 heavenly tribulations? Master's first wave of heavenly tribulations has 9 kinds. Doesn't this mean that 9 more heavenly tribulations will be created out of thin air? Chen Lin asked. It's probably because your master is a master of both martial arts and Taoism, and that's why you caused this supreme catastrophe, Ao Tian said. My mentor is indeed extraordinary. Heavenly tribulations contain good fortune. After these 99 heavenly tribulations, my mentor's cultivation will definitely advance further, Chiao Shaoxin said. Everyone nodded. In Taoism, 9 is the ultimate number, and the great Tao of heaven and earth emphasizes the 4 and 9 of heaven and earth, the only way to escape. Therefore, the Yuan Yang Golden Immortal Tribulation has always been the 8th or 9th heavenly calamity. The only exception is the dual cultivation of martial arts. Only when the physical body and magical power have reached perfection at the same time can the ultimate test set by this avenue be triggered. 99 Great Tribulations. This matter is a secret of our Chongshan Academy. In the future, you and other laymen should not tell anyone what you saw today, the Dragon Emperor ordered in a cold voice. We will follow your uncle's teachings. Everyone is not a fool, and they all understand what the first person will die first. Especially in the upper realm, there will inevitably be many beings whose cultivation is far superior to that of their ancestors. If they are not all protected, there will be pink eye among them. While they were chatting, Su Junming had already passed the second level of catastrophe. He originally thought that he could at least withstand the 8th heavenly tribulation with his physical body. Little did he know that the 6th level would reach the limit that the physical body could withstand. The 9-9 heavenly tribulation is not just an additional 9 levels of pure Yang heavenly tribulation, each level of heavenly tribulation is also more powerful. But that's fine. The stronger the calamity, the stronger the body-forging effect. When he patted the gourd on his waist, a dragon eye-sized piece bloomed with golden light, and the translucent elixir slowly flew into his mouth. It was the Tai Ren Huang Dan that he practiced. The elixir entered his stomach, and an explosive power spread out instantly. In fact, Tai Ren Huang Dan, as a merit-enhancing elixir, has relatively mild medicinal properties. But no matter how gentle it is still an elixir for monks at the level of Tai Celestial Immortal. The medicine is powerful. Su Junming instantly felt that his blood was boiling completely after absorbing the power of the medicine. It happened to be at this time. 3,000 feet of thunder rolled in. The powerful thunder and lightning, like a giant knife falling from the sky, struck Su Junming instantly. Boom! The sound shook the sky. A 3,000-foot wound appeared on Su Junming's chest. The surrounding area was scorched black, and only red flesh and blood could be seen in the deepest part. Although the scattered lightning turned into an infinite power grid, it instantly enveloped him. The layers of tough skin turned into coke under the powerful lightning. The medicinal power of Tai Ren Huang Dan spreads, and the hot blood promotes the growth of the texture. Countless granules entangled with each other and quickly healed the wound on the chest. At the same time, the charred shell receded, revealing the reddish skin underneath. This seemingly soft texture turned into a yellowish-brown color at a speed visible to the naked eye, like gold and iron, exuding a tough divine light. Soon, the wind disaster arrived. The billowing wind enters the internal organs through Yongquan Point. Like the silent spring rain that moistens everything, everything around it quickly disappears. The vicious Yin Feng quickly met his opponent. Under the stimulation of the powerful medicinal power, the internal organs burst out with more powerful vitality. In the duel of life and death, he becomes stronger and stronger. However, after Su Junming survived the next 5 elements of tribulation, the medicinal power of a Tai Iron Huangdan was also exhausted. Fortunately, after being tempered for the previous 7 tribulations, his current physical body has become another level of strength based on the original, and is enough to withstand yin and yang tribulations. But the 8th heavenly tribulation became stronger. The first thunder tribulation alone was 9,000 feet long, 3 times the length of the 7th thunder tribulation. A thunder struck and almost cut Su Junming into 2 pieces. Fortunately, he had enough Tai Huangdan in his gourd, and he was able to recover quickly. However, the 8th heavenly tribulation consumed 3 of his Tai Huangdan. The last wait. Looking at the catastrophic black clouds that spread for 180,000 miles above the head, the wind and clouds in the center are surging, and the thunder is gathering. The endless thunder and lightning are like the roaring eyes of the sea, and the dazzling lightning turns into a dazzling blue ocean. Gradually, a 3,000-foot-long thunder eye appeared in the vast black clouds. Looking at the wisp of red slowly appearing in the center of the thunder eye, Su Junming's expression became serious. Xian Dule. Generally speaking, when the Yuan Yang Golden Immortal transcends the 8 or 9 heavenly tribulations, there will be no Xian Du thunder that only appears when Tai monks transcend the tribulation. But now that he has gone through 99 heavenly tribulations, Xian Dule, which is far more powerful than Zifule, has appeared. Tiandao really thinks highly of me. This time he didn't dare to make any more mistakes. With a movement in his heart, the 3 divine gates of azure, Ksatagarbha and human soul appeared from mid-air. Make a seal with your hands and drink from your mouth. 3 talents divine sect formation.